man you worship.
We don't worship a man. Where did you get that from?
Muhammad.
Where did you get that from? Man we worship?
Muhammad.
So this is your knowledge about Islam?
No, no, I have a great depth of knowledge.
Yes, and
What
Muslims
about- what
worship
about-
Muhammad.
Yeah, you do worship Muhammad.
Can you repeat that again? Muslims worship who?
Muhammad.
Okay, and where did you get that from?
The Kaaba.
And we worship the Kaaba as well. What's your question?
What's good? What's good?
What's good?
There's good people and there's bad people. What's
Yeah, yeah. Some things you recognize by yourself because it's inherent within you. For example, being...
everything with who though? You might be...
I'm explaining. You asked me a question, I'm explaining. For example, not speaking aggressively, right, is a good thing. Speaking nicely, politely, gently, comfortably, so the person you're speaking to is feeling comfortable and secure and not threatened.
Aggressive is subjective. Because you can be assertive even...
Wait. What is good? For example, speaking the truth and not speaking lie. Are you now going to ask me, truth is subjective?
No, truth is not subjective.
Excellent. So, do you agree being truthful is a good thing?
100%.
Exactly. That's what we were trying to do. When we are discussing about historicity of events mentioned on our religious scripture and they differ, we need to be truthful in terms of how we're going to approach this to find out what exactly happened in reality. Not our preconceived biases come into play and say, we disregard it. We don't take anything just because it goes against our religious tradition. That's what we're trying to establish. But unfortunately, what we have noticed is a symptom of a bigger disease. And that disease is called the inferiority complex, where people find that they do not have the truth with them. And they feel insecure, threatened all the time. And they, to make this up in terms of, yeah, I am true, my religion is true, is just to say, you're wrong, and this and that.
Someone's wrong though. Someone's wrong.
Yeah, truth cannot be in all sides. If they differ.
Truth cannot be plural, right?
No, what I'm
It's always singular, right? So someone's wrong.
if somebody says God has a son and God doesn't have a son, both cannot be right.
That's right. So that's what I'm saying. Someone's wrong. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
but if both of them says God needs to be worshipped, both of them are right.
Both say Jesus.
When we're talking about truth, is what we're talking about. What are they talking about the truth? Yes, when the Christians say, when the Jewish people say, God needs to be worshipped by the creation. Yes, it's the truth. We agree as Muslims.
What is God's desire though?
God's desire is the people to make their own choice to worship God.
Is it okay? Does God prefer worship or relationship? Does he prefer worship or relationship?
Worshipping is a relationship.
No, it's not.
Okay, what is relationship?
Relationship is actually knowing somebody personally. Worship.
No,
you
no,
worship
no.
any- You can worship.
Excuse me, define relationship again. You've just made a huge mistake in defining the term relationship. What is relationship?
Personally, I say.
I have a relationship with my camera. Explain to me.
It doesn't have a relationship with you.
Wait.
It doesn't have a relationship with you.
Do I have a relationship with my camera?
You can, but it doesn't have.
So
one.
now, since I can have a relationship,
Yeah.
what do you mean by relationship in my example?
The relationship goes both ways.
You just said I can have a relationship with my camera.
Yeah.
So now define what is
But
relationship.
I asked you about God. I talk about the camera. I said, what does God desire?
Okay.
Is it worship? or
Relationship between God and the creation.
Because, huh?
Are you asking me about relationship between God and creation?
That's right.
Yeah. The creation,
Because sound, we need to.
the way the creation is related to the creator is one of a creator and creation relationship. One existed always and one didn't exist always. One who is independent and one who is dependent. One who is limited and one who is not limited. Yep. One who is self-sufficient and one who is not self-sufficient. So the one who is limited, dependent, finite, yep, totally reliant on God, the relation they have is total submission to the one who brought them into existence.
That's right.
And that total submission to this one God is, in our understanding, the worshipping of the creation to the Creator.
Worship.
Submission. Submission.
So you can submit with someone and don't have a relationship with them.
That's the relationship.
No, it's not. It's
You can
not.
disagree.
It's-
You can disagree.
I submit to my manager. I don't have a relationship with him.
You can disagree.
You can submit to something and don't have a
God has a
We
relationship.
you
He is
submit-
being merciful.
Listen, you submit to the government and don't have a relationship with the
Now
government.
I am explaining
So that's why
how
relationship
God
is more
relates to
important.
us. He created us.
Yeah.
He sustains us. He nourishes us.
That's true. That's true in all religion.
Please, I'm just showing you the relationship aspect, which you probably have missed. God created us. سَبِّحِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ.
Of course he created us.
Glory be to one.
Know that. That's for all religion. Let's go back. We have to go back to Eden.
Wait.
God is not a God of confusion.
God
We have to go
created
back
us,
to Eden.
made the taqdeer, determination of how we're going to be, man or woman, right? And He guided us.
Yeah.
So these are the aspects of His rububiyyah, His lordship. He's our
What is His will?
Lord,
What is God's will?
one at a time.
Okay.
Right.
Because,
So
because the thing is about you guys and the faith. You guys
Can
are
I-
causing confusion.
can I complete my
You're
answer?
causing too much confusion.
I'm a Muslim. Are you a Muslim?
Yeah.
Why not, madam?
You must know why.
Hmm?
You know why I'm not Muslim.
I personally don't know.
Because Islam is a death cult.
Islam is a
Death cult.
death cult. Is that how you see it?
I do.
Okay. So when Islam says respect your parents, it's a death cult message, right?
No, I have a problem with the Surah 2:216.
One example.
Where it says, I'm going to tell you where.
Okay. So Islam is not a death cult always. Sometimes you're saying.
2:16 it says that violence is prescribed as a Muslim. And the fact that women are able to be taken by their husband in 2224 any which way they want. And you are to fight the disbeliever wherever you find it. The problem I have with Islam is, first of all, it's not actually a religion legitimately. It's a political ideology. And it's a cult. And it's hypocritical for what you say. My one question I have for you is why you don't believe that people should worship idols. Is that right? Is that right about idols?
You've asked me not one questions.
I'm asking about an idol. Do you
One moment. I've heard you.
Yeah.
So allow me to now respond.
Okay.
So your whole basis of rejecting Islam or not become a Muslim is because Islam is a death cult. And why Islam is a death cult? You said Islam treats in this way. It
Quran says
I heard you.
about death.
I heard you.
Right.
So allow me to now respond.
Well, you're not saying it accurately.
I only started. I haven't even made a statement.
I'm being specific about Surah 2:216.
I haven't started talking about it. I was about to. Can I?
Go ahead.
Can I? Sure. So when the Quran says, about violence you talked about women you talked about, obviously you've read the context, right?
Yeah, it's very clear, yeah.
Sure. So let's talk about something that is very, very harsh, violence. When Islam says, as you said, go and fight and kill the infidels. Have you heard about that? Disbelievers,
Or
right.
anyone who goes against
Sure.
Islam.
This is quite aggressive, right?
Yeah.
Good. This was in verse 5 of chapter 9. Can you now kindly tell me what was verse 1, 2, 3, and 4 say? And then verse 6, 7, and 8 say?
No, the problem is that you...
Context.
Well, it depends on whose context.
Quranic context.
Give me
Because
the- give me
Quran
the
is giving
Quran.
that
Let me
statement.
get it
No. Okay, get it
I'll
out.
get it out. Because you're talking about a different...
Go
I
ahead.
told you about 2216 and you're not referencing...
But I said the most harshest thing in your view is about go and find and kill the infidels, rather than how you treat your woman, right?
No. 2216 is about violence being prescribed for you.
Right.
That's
So,
2216.
right. Is it harsh?
Of course it is.
Right.
Violence
So
is
if I-
harsh.
so-
Jihad is harsh.
Okay.
The Hijra
So I heard.
is invasion.
So I heard.
Everything that Islam
So
stands for
may I
is
respond now?
violence.
May I
Everything that Islam stands for is violence.
May I respond?
And especially against women.
May I
So
respond?
I'm just giving you a statement. You keep on interrupting.
But
me.
why
I'm
don't
trying
you
to make-
why don't you give me
giving-
one at a
giving
time?
you- well, it's all-encompassing.
One at a time.
It's an all-encompassing problem. The ideology. The man you worship,
We don't worship a man. Where do you get that from?
Muhammad.
Where do you get that from? Man we worship?
Muhammad.
So this is your knowledge about Islam?
No, I have a great depth of knowledge.
Yes, and
What
Muslims
about- what
worship
about-
Muhammad.
Yeah, you do worship Muhammad.
Can you repeat that again? Muslims worship who?
Muhammad.
Okay, and where did you get that from?
Worship, the Kaaba.
And we worship the Kaaba as well.
Because
Right.
you point towards it when
Okay,
you pray.
so interesting. And
And
you know a
walk
lot
around
about
it.
Islam.
You have to do a
Douglas,
tour around
do you not have an enjoyment in this conversation? Muslims worship Muhammad and worship the Kaaba.
Well, you do. You go there to go and walk around.
Apparently.
Is that-
Someone who
am I
studied
wrong?
Islam.
Am I wrong?
Hmm?
You don't go to the Kaaba. You don't point towards the Kaaba when you pray. Am I wrong?
Do you want me to answer?
I'd like you to answer.
Right, so I would like you to now listen patiently. The statement that you made that is going to be shocking to all the viewers, because our viewers are actually quite intelligent. Our viewers are smart.
Okay, carry on. No, answer.
Were you interrupting?
Well, yes, because you just...
Were you interrupting? Were you interrupting?
You're
Excuse me.
filibustering. You're filibustering. Could you just get to the point?
I am responding and you're interrupting.
Well, you're just talking about
that's-
how intelligent people are. I don't need to know that.
Can I?
I'm talking to you.
I am responding to you, and I
You're
expect you to
talking
listen
about people
patiently.
listening. No,
Do you have any patience?
very little when it comes to
Then I
Islam.
cannot talk.
I want you to
Sorry.
answer directly.
I cannot talk. You haven't got patience. Anyone has
What
patience, we
about
can have
the
a
Kaaba?
discussion.
No,
I cannot
because
talk to you.
well, no, because you're...
If you have
controlling
patience, then I
the
can give you a
conversation.
response.
If you were
If you
direct,
don't have patience, I cannot
if you
talk to you.
waffle, that's pathetic and it's boring. So when you talk about your viewers being intelligent and thoughtful... and
Our viewers are
whatever else-
intelligent.
Sorry?
In
That's
fact,
great.
when these videos go
I'm
up,
glad that you're all intelligent.
when our hang on,
really
when our
important.
videos goes up, this particular conversation we have, you will see how our viewers are going to totally dismantle you
Oh, no, they'll
by
just be
saying,
rude. They'll just
I am
call
not
me
a
all kinds
Muslim,
of names.
but Muslims don't believe that Muhammad should be worshipped. I am not a Muslim and Muslims don't
what's the
worship a Kaaba.
Muhammad say
These
whenever you
are
say
the
his name?
being smart and being intelligent.
What
That's
do-
how our viewers are.
What do Muslims say when they say his name?
Excuse me.
What's the phrase?
If you want to have a conversation
I'm
with
asking
me,
you a question. Don't tell me, don't ask me, just say
I can only answer if you allow me to
Here's a
answer.
question.
But if
What
you
do
don't allow me
say-
to answer, I cannot have a
Stop,
conversation.
Stop it. What do Muslims say when...
Did you hear what he said?
What do
Are you
Muslims
mature enough to be
say-
quiet for a second?
Well, only if he's going to talk
You
straight.
are much older than me. Be
No, I'm
patient.
not. Listen, what do people say when they reference Muhammad?
Okay.
What are the
So,
words?
so I will tell you now.
Now, just about Muhammad.
Can I speak?
He was about to start talking and you interrupted. So
May,
let him speak.
may I speak?
If you talk about Muhammad,
When we mention Muhammad, just here, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
there we go.
Okay, let me say it again. I'm going to mention the name. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
what's
Now,
that mean?
what does it mean? May God's blessing and His mercy be on Prophet Muhammad, on him.
Exactly.
Wait. Now, if God's blessing falls on that we're making this invocation to the Prophet, are we worshipping him?
You worship it. You're supposed to listen.
Take care.
You listen. No.
I'm sorry. Cannot talk to you. I'm sorry.